Hello? Mic is going. Okay, cool. Let's see, does their... Yep, audio capture is going. Cool. Okay, so this is my test video um, to see if I should make videos, record the game stream, what have you, and also to show my friends this game that I love called Rimworld. I love this game. It's my favorite game of all time. They just did a big update, so I'll get right to it. I'm going to go ahead and start a new colony just to explain what I'm going to do. And there's a lot of new stuff now. Crash Landed is kind of the OG experience. That's what I always considered vanilla, and I remember it to always be that way. You get 3 survivors. They crash on the planet. You get some starter stuff. And then the map is scattered with some stuff. And there will be other random stuff, too. I don't even really look at this stuff. I just know I get 3 people, and then I start thinking about that. And that's usually how I start mine. But there's a lot of new options now. Lost Tribe. You get 5 Lost Tribes people to rebuild with, and some starter stuff. Rich Explorer, 1 rich person. Naked Brutality, just you against the world. 1 person. There's nothing fair about this scenario. It is extremely difficult, and death can happen for any reason. So I love that the game is very blunt about stuff like this. I left the game music on too, because the music is amazing. So I want that to be experienced. The Mechanator. I don't know this one. And it looks like that's about mechanoids as your servants. Okay, so you use robots. You don't like people. So, okay, that's interesting. You start with 1 mechanator. I don't even know this system. But that sounds cool. So you'd be like running robots to do all your work instead of dealing with it. So it's just on you. That's interesting. And then Sanguiphage, this is the vampire stuff. Where people don't die, they live for a really long time, they can heal, but they have to drink human blood. They have to get yeah, I was about to say booze. Blood. They have to drink blood. Faction anyway, okay, so I'm just gonna do Crash Landed with my 3 starter people. That's what I always do. So we're just gonna move on with that. So here you get the option of your storyteller, Cassandra Classic. Create story events on a classic increasing curve of challenge and tension, push you with dangerous events, then give you breathing room, then come back to push once more. So she's nicer about it. They all get difficult. It doesn't matter who you pick. They all get hard. Phoebe Chillax, lots of time between disasters to build your colony, but at higher difficulty, she comes in pretty hard. So this is sort of the vanilla progression. Step. And this, Phoebe Chillax is a lot more relaxed. You get more gaps. You can build a lot more stuff going on. And this is Randy Random. And this is just, fuck you. Whatever you want to do, you can try it, but just anything happens. He'll throw really hard stuff at you out of nowhere. It's hard. It's basically chaos. The RNG's off the chart. So we'll just go with Cassandra Classic, because we're going to keep it classic. And then as far as difficulties, peaceful, community builder, adventure story, strive to survive, blood and dust, losing is fun, custom. Peaceful is what you would think. It doesn't even have any. I don't think you can get rated in it, which is kind of lame, because you don't, you can't deal with other people as much, other civilizations, colonies, what have you. Let's see, probably adventure story, because I've done it a few times and I want to keep the game moving and I don't want to get bored. There needs to be some edge to it. Here you can create your world and then you choose your seed. I'm just gonna make up a word and then we're just going to use it. So Fraggle Rock. That's not really, I didn't make that up. I just thought of it. But we're going to do Fraggle Rock. Okay. You can randomize it. Globe coverage. This is how big you want your planet coverage to be. I usually do 50%. You can do the whole thing, but there's not really a reason to. You're not going to be able to travel to the whole world. It's huge. Yeah, 50% is fine of globe coverage. I don't really mess with these too much. You can play around with the rainfall, temperature, population, sparse, crowded. You can move that around. Factions here. You can turn stuff on. And you can also add a whole bunch of new factions now. This is all like Mechanoid Hive, Insect Gene Line. I don't even know a lot of this stuff. This is newer stuff. The Cannibals are in there. Nudist Tribe. Yeah. So we'll go with, I don't know, all of these guys. I kind of want to just keep what it was. I can add more of these in. We'll throw some nudists out there. Okay, there's nudists now that are going to be running around. There's already there's a Neanderthal tribe, fierce Neanderthal tribe. That's kind of fun. Rough Pig Union, pig people. Ugh, this game has gotten so weird. Okay, I don't know about cannibals. Are kind of scary, but let's do it. We might be able to catch one and reform them or something. I don't know. Pollution is another one that I don't mess with, but that has to do with like toxins and all kinds of stuff. It's wild. Okay, we're gonna generate the world. Here you can see all the content. I have all the DLCs, so ideology, royalty, and then the newest update, biotech. Which I love this game so much. It kind of reminds me of Firefly, the show. Serenity, I guess, was the movie. That was the way it was, right? Yeah. Whatever. It reminds me of that vibe, that western Badlands kind of dystopian, civilizations, wild. So here we're going to be picking where we're going to set up our shop. You can see the whole world. And I usually try to aim for something in a more temperate area, so I can farm and do stuff like that. You also want to be considering, who your neighbors are going to be. You'll get raided by all kinds of places, but your neighbors are important. It comes up, you have peace talks, all kinds of stuff. Green, obviously, forest areas. Brown, drier desert areas, mountainous regions. But when you click on a tile, it'll give you, okay, so it's the desert, very dry area, supports little life. The terrain is flat, movement difficulty 1, so it'll be easy to walk around, but it's probably just a desert. And I can't really see specifically what's on the tile. It just gives me this sort of overall. I can pick it and just go on and use that as my starting location, but it'll give me some idea of what I can expect as far as like temperature, growing period, days out of the year that I can grow, rainfall. Does it have forage? So will I find berries there? Things like that. I really, you don't have to pay attention to all this. You don't have to. You could just, okay, it's going to be a forest, tropical rainforest, a thick, moist jungle buzzing with animal life and infested with disease. Ugh. Despite its visual beauty, this is a very dangerous biome. Choking overgrowth, aggressive animals, and constant sickness are why some explorers call this the Green Hell. Ooh. It was kind of romantic and dark, the way you described it there. All right. Yeah, or temperate forest, right there. So you'd have trees, not so much the rainforest. Get less rainfall. This would be a river. So if we clicked on this tile, we'd probably definitely have a river going through there. We could do water with hydroelectric power. With a river, I usually just use other forms, but whatever. Let's go ahead and just pick, I like rainforest because there's lots of wildlife and stuff. And it's usually pretty temperate. Yeah, average temperature is definitely in the comfort zone. Um, Growing period year round. Average temperature 666. Mark of the beast. Forage, rainfall. Terrain is flat. Terrain is flat. Well, let's just go to the rainforest. Okay. Uh, this is the ideology pack that I have. So here I will pick their religion, which is really cool. So you can start with mild religions, which are, they don't affect your colonists so much. Human purists, they don't like body modification, scarification, they don't like drugs. You have the high collectivists, they do like drugs, they like weed. Weed is a big part of their culture. They grow it, they smoke it. They build giant bongs to smoke it out of. They're goofy, they're funny. Unity family, it's just about like, um, yeah, people coming together. These are stronger beliefs that have more of an effect on, say, culture and their day-to-day life. And there's lots of options here: free ranchers, dominators, techno utopians, purist flagellators. So they hurt themselves. Um, Dark humans. They don't like to be in the sunlight. Nature over man. So you do not hurt plants. You can kill uh, like people, but not nature. um, so there's a feminine, like sort of a feminist ideology. Martyrs. No, it's for like Catholics, I guess. Admitting corrupt, sinful nature is as crucial as suffering for it. Pain and sacrifices are approved. So yeah, it's dark Catholicism. I don't know. Cowboys, this is different. I haven't seen this one before. Men should keep a strong grip over their herds and their women. My God. Raising animals for food is much better than farming animals, or farming plants, sorry. We don't tolerate arguments about any of this. Unlocks the animus specialist role. It's kind of weird. Cowboys. So you can get male supremacy. It's okay. Cowboys are the alternative to feminine. So they're just like on the nose about it. No, you're just a space cowboy. That's the way it was, and that's the way it might be. And then these are the intense ones: mole people, tree worshippers, blindness cult. Don't they take out their eyes? Yeah, ritual blinding, scarifications. God, dark. Feral people, so people that just live in the fucking in the forest. Naked man eaters. Yep, cannibals. Um, just eat people and they're monstrous. And then transcended humanists. Um, they like to upgrade their body with technology. So we're just gonna do something simple, I think. Purists are kind of boring, I think, because of the whole they don't like body modification and what have you. It's not like it's necessary, but sometimes like it comes up when you want to like heal them, give them like hey, you lost your limb, let me give you something, and they like reject getting a prosthetic because they don't want it. And it's like it's not extra; it's just trying to get you onto the even ground, but they're whatever about it. We could do the high collectivists. They're kind of goofy. Sorry, this is taking so long. There's a lot of steps. This is your character's selection screen. So what you can do here is see your top 3 up here are the 3 you have selected. And these are the ones that you can pick from as sort of different options, and this is where you can randomize an option. So you can sort of play around with different ideas. Over here you can see relations, and so this guy, Dyer Bartender, is the son of William Gregory Heap. You get a plus 30 just to compatibility and what have you, because they're related. And so, let's see, William Gregory is here, right? Yeah. So that's his father. They're related. Possessions. they might have something on them. And then up here in your health, you'll have, okay, so this guy's an addict. Cass, she's a female, my fault. 68 years old, wake up addict. She's got an artery blockage, and she's got a stab scar on her right leg. Sometimes the scars will itch them, cause them discomfort. Artery blockage, well, she's older, so she's probably going to need a new heart eventually, or at least surgery or help, because if her heart goes out, and yeah, she's older, and she's an addict, which means she's been taking a lot of drugs. So I don't know how much time that heart's got left. And this is just this one character, right? And here we've got Riley. She's also an addict. God, all these people are freaking addicts. This is their childhood. So her childhood was story writer. As a child, she was addicted to reading. She would spend all day in her local library with her nose in a book. When budget cuts forced the library to close, she was distraught. She decided to fill the gap by writing her own stories instead. So she's creative. Here you can see all of her stats. If it has a flame next to it, that means she's passionate about it. She's interested in it. If it has 2 flames in it, she's very passionate about it. This is what she loves to do. And so she's going to learn that skill really fast, and she's going to do things with it really fast. And she's also going to have the ability to eventually create things called like masterwork and things like that, where when she's crafting an item, she just does like a perfect job of it. And that jacks up the value of it, of the item. It also makes it a very functional item. So if it was like a weapon, it would work better. If it was a chair, it would be more comfortable. If it was a television, that people would get more enjoyment out of it, etc. And that follows for anything. So medical, if it had, you can level up regular skills without it, but it just takes much, much longer. If they're passionate about it, that basically means that's what they're going to rage on and be really good at. Let's see. All of these take place of like, so what you want to have them do. It kind of encompasses everything that can be done as far as like within the game for these guys, these little pawn guys. I try to find sort of an even balance. You can see down here your team skills. So these 3 people combined have given me this as far as my overall. And what you want to aim for in here would be just making sure you have sort of a balance and you have some passion in all of the categories, so that at the very least, even if people out of the gate aren't very good at, say, one of the skills or something. So let's see. So mining. She's only a 3 in mining, but she has 1 passion for it, which means she's going to learn that skill. Not as quickly as this one, but she's going to take after it. And so I know that even though she's only starting out as a 3, within a matter of time, that's going to be like a 6 or a 7 if I put her to work on doing it. It's just going to happen on its own. So that's something to keep in mind when you're looking at these stats. They're not locked in. They will level up no matter what you have them do. The ones with 2 flames, the big ones, that's the fastest they'll learn it and do it. 1 flame, not as fast. All right, so when I go to pick them, I kind of just sort of go through, look at what sort of issues they might be having. Also, you want to look at their traits. So, God, this is another thing. Incapable of intellectual and cooking. So she'll never do cooking. She just won't do it. Might have something to do with her backstory. I don't know. Growing up pulling carts, digging holes. She was a slave. Okay. And she did labor. She doesn't like cooking. So she's got something to do with cooking. She won't do it. In her later life, she's a construction engineer. Construction +8, plants -30. Okay. So we've got... Sorry, I keep sucking my teeth. Intellectual, cooking. So she'll never do cooking. So that's just something to keep in mind. She just won't do it. She'll never help out with that. So I try and be careful of, like, looking out for things like he won't do crafting. That may not be a big deal, you know, but sometimes it's important because you're out of people. You can see this guy's got a lot of passion. He's incapable of plant work, and that's a big deal, because if I need someone that can work on plants and he's the only one I have left, he just won't do it. He'll do anything else, but he won't do that. So that can be kind of a pain. And you can spend a lot of time in here messing around with this. This is probably the section that takes the longest, just because it's really interesting to see all of the stuff that you'll see relationships. So this guy's Misha is 19, and her lover is Igor, who, oh, Sugar. Okay, so she's in love with this guy. It just says lover, not married. They're lovers. So they could break up. They could whatever. There could be issues. Sister is Tammy Marks, and all of this stuff can be randomized too. So Cass has got a lot of issues, so we're just gonna randomize her. She's gone. I can't get her back. She's gone forever. That character is, I can't pick her. I can't go back to her. It's gone. But now I have a new one. It's the fiance of Coyote here, Glenn. Into animals, social, so trade and what have you, crafting, construction. Traits, he's iron-willed. That's good to have. Mental break threshold is down. So keeps going. Tough. Let's see. Child spy. That's interesting. Years of experience gave him social manipulation and lying. Okay, so that's where he got his social skills from. And his adulthood, he was a livestock farmer. Okay, so we might want to keep Glenn around. But because Glenn's here, we've got a plus 35 if we take Coyote. But Coyote's got a go juice addiction already, 35%. If I don't deal with this, she's going to either need go juice, which she has a little bit on her. She's either going to need me to make it, or she's going to go through withdrawal really fast. And that can cause some serious problems. So even though Glenn's got a lot of skills, Coyote's going to be a problem. She's just going to be a problem. And she's slothful. God, what do you see in her, Glenn? He's got an iron will. He's got all this great history. He's 47. He's a livestock farmer. He's been through it. He loves animals. He's a social guy. And he's dating this go addict who she was a writer, okay. And now she's an inventor. So he's just supporting her ass while she tries to invent bullshit. And she doesn't do much. So she's just sitting in front of the TV saying, I'm inventing something, while Glenn's fucking dealing with it. That might be kind of funny. I can give her weed, because we are going to be the weed heads as our religion. And that can kind of buffer it, but she's still going to crave it. If she doesn't get it, she's going to go into withdrawal. And that can take a long time for her to get over it. It can take months. For her to fully go through the whole process, because she's just going to be grouchy and awful. And it's not a matter of like, oh, I'll just give her go juice. It's like, it's not going to be on the planet. Where we're going doesn't have the drug. I'm going to have to synthesize it, make it, or wait until someone shows up with it from another colony, hoping they have it. If they don't have it, I have to make it. And that can take time with research and all of that. Plus, I have to keep everybody alive. God, she's going to be a pain in the ass. I don't want to bring her. So, sorry, Coyote. I might just separate you two and do God's will. And now Coyote is gone. Glenn, if you do end up getting selected, yeah. We're putting Glenn up in the selected column now. All right. Maybe he'll like Mia. She's 19. Oh, very young. Oh, she's in love with Igor Sugar. No health conditions, so he's healthy. He was an undergrounder. Oh, he is an undergrounder, so he's not gonna like sunlight. Anytime I put him outside, he's gonna complain. He's not gonna enjoy it. He's incapable of intellectual things, which is, yeah, great. So he can't do crafting and he can't do intellectual stuff. Thanks, idiot. So no, Mai will not be bringing her fiance with her. Sugar. Yeah, what annoying. Okay. Let's see, and then we have John up here, fast learner, staggeringly This is okay. His face looks like a cross between a drawing by an untalented child, a malformed fetus, and a jar of formaldehyde and a piece of modern art. Others must exert conscious effort to look at him while conversing. Beauty -2. So John ain't stealing anyone's girlfriend. Um, but he's a fast learner, he's a fast walker, and he gets the job done. So I could probably put him on a few things, and he'll just learn how to do them, even though he has 0 skills except for how to punch people. Apparently, from getting in fights, probably he was a farm boy. Um, he preferred handles-on attacks. He enjoyed this lonely work and tended to stay out of other people's way to do his own thing. I bet he did. Unstable bird butcher. He began hearing voices. The animals were talking to him, insulting him. He came to hate them and eventually killed his furry former friends. He started selling the meat just to get human interaction. John doesn't sound very stable. John might be an issue. His father is Victor Glenn. Oh, yeah. Well, he has a negative interaction with them. We might need to get rid of John. Oh, we don't want sugar. Oh, we're gonna randomize one of them. Gosh, so many options. I'm just doing this to show you guys what all there is. Because there's a lot of my voice. There's a lot of different things you can do. Chemical interest. So this one's important. He's going to be just into drugs. If I don't give him drugs, he's going to get stressed out. He's always going to be interested in drugs, which I can appreciate. I get it. But it's just going to bum him out. He's not going to get over it. So it's always going to kind of be a thing. He's going to want him. So it's just something to keep in mind. Too smart. He's too smart for his own good. He learns everything much faster than everything, but he can be kind of a dick about it. That's funny. He's eccentric. He's a brawler. He likes to fight. So he's going to pick fights. It's going to happen. He's just going to have an inclination. And when he gets stressed out, other people get stressed out. He'll get stressed out. It's just how it goes. He was an industrial orphan. I don't usually read all this stuff. I'm just giving you an idea of how rich the story text is. It's incredibly rich. You can sit here and read it all. I usually just make sure I've got a decent starting thing and go from there. With hopefully not too many health issues and not too many bad traits. This guy's a fast learner, good with animals. I need someone that can cook, and I need plants. That's where I'm at. And Shoddy here does not have that. So we have cooking, 5 in regular plants. Mining and cooking. Cooking and plants. Now, another thing to consider too is that these two skills are kind of be counterintuitive, because I don't want to have someone who's exclusively going to be focusing on my plants also be the only person who can cook, because then when they're doing all of the growing, they're not going to be cooking, and vice versa. So while she fulfills a number of the roles, she also takes over construction, though, and mining here, which means I could have other people fill in with some things, not necessarily plants. I don't have anyone else that's good at plants. We can switch up me, though. M-I-E, me. We're getting rid of sugar. I kind of like... Oh, Michi, I just noticed is sickly. She's got an awful immune system, which means if she gets ill, which is going to happen, we're in the rainforest, she's going to get malaria. Like, everyone is. But hopefully once they all catch it, they'll go through it, we'll get them healed up, and they'll build up an immunity to it. And then I won't have to worry about it so much. Everyone catches something when they go to the rainforest. It's just a matter of getting them through it and getting them healed up. Sickly people should not be in the rainforest. Now, she might get through it. She might develop an immune system over time. But she's also going to just get sick. So that's not going to be great. Even though she's got all these amazing cooking and plant skills. Oh, and Glenn's her ex-lover. Oh, God. Oh, and that's her son. Oh, wait, no, we wouldn't put her with John anyway. But, yeah, Glenn. That's her ex-lover, so that's not going to work. Sorry. Oh, and her name's Michelle. So you're not coming with us. Anyway, let's see. We need to find someone else who's good at cooking and plants. That's ironic, because she wasn't. Let's see. What do we have? God, what are the odds? Oh, here's Josh. Mining and medical. Oh, it's not me. Occasionally I do see a character named Josh, and it's like, hold up. It's got similar characteristics. There's something. Sickly child. Probably got over it. Doesn't say he's sickly now. Physically deaf, though. No, psychically deaf. Sorry. So, psychic phenomena. So, you'll get things called psychic pulses that'll rage out. And so, like, all of a sudden, all the men will get depressed for, like, a couple of days. Or all the women will get depressed for a couple of days. It'll put out these pulses. And it's, like, some sort of futuristic psychic thing that happens periodically. That affects one gender or the other. Sometimes it affects both, I think. But I've only really seen it affect one or the other. We still need cooking. There's a whole bunch of cooking. Look at that. 7 cooking. Oh, he's got Alzheimer's. Damn. At 40? That's a shame. Tobias has a chemical interest. He's a recluse and he's depressive. Well, he's had a hard life. He's got Alzheimer's at 40. He's incapable intellectual stuff and artistic stuff. God, this guy's got skills. Look at that. Savannah. Alright, she's good at cooking, plants, animals, crafting, and she's artistic. She's a night owl, which can be helpful. That means she just likes to do stuff at night. She's neurotic. Well, that means she's going to get stressed out when things don't go well. And stench. Slow on the uptake. She learns much slower than others. So she's got a lot of skills, but she's got high skills in these 3 things. So okay, so they'll kind of counter each other a bit there. She's incapable of social stuff. Warden and childcare, she won't do them. But I also wouldn't want to use her for, like, say, trading, or if I sent her out to go help out trading stuff with other colonies. She wouldn't be helpful. Cooking plants, quick sleeper, incapable of violence. That could be good, but also she can't help me with fighting off people. That's her dad. It's Tony. She was on an organ farm. She was raised on an illegal underground organ farm. Her body was used to grow organic implants for wounded mercenaries. Oh my God. Through her upbringing has left her haunted. It has also given her a unique understanding of human biology. My word, that's sad. She's only 13. Yikes. Alright, well, no. I need her to learn how to fight. She can't shoot or hit anybody. It's not going to be very helpful. Cooking some plants. I need plants. We're going to have to get rid of one of these people. Medical. She's a psychopath. God dang it. All these people have issues. She has no empathy. The suffering of others doesn't bother her. She's going to be a lunatic. She's a wild card. I can't have her. Again, sorry this is taking so long. I just want to make sure, because I'm not doing this the way I usually would. I don't usually pay too much attention to this stuff. I kind of want it to be kind of randomized for me, but also I want to make sure that I have at least some stuff covered so I can go through the basics of what to do. Okay, so there's cooking, plants, a lot of it artistic. We have little construction. Dang. These people have so many issues. Or they're incapable of a lot of stuff. Social, intellectual. Creepy breathing. She breathes in a creepy way, and she's a gourmand. She loves food. She was a coma child, and now she's a civil servant. She's a bureaucrat. So we have two really good at cooks. Nothing for construction, though. Glenn up here's got a little bit, but not a lot. We definitely want to have plants and cooking and construction. He'll learn quick. We might just run with this and see what happens. I don't think any of these people are related, so I'm not getting a bonus from any of them. But that's fine. It's not a big deal. And do we have plants? Because we have a lot of weed to grow. We have some. Okay. We're just going to start it. And go. That took forever. I'm so sorry. The three of you awake in your cryosleep. Sarcophagi to the sound of sirens and ripping metal. You barely get to the escape pods before the ship is torn apart. Sometime later, you land on this unknown Rimworld. As pieces of this shredded starship fall around you, you start making plans to survive. So, Rimworld. Yay! So here we go. You can pause it. I hit the space bar that pauses it, but yeah. You can pause the game. This is our tile. So this is where we'll build our colony and all of this. This is our home. You can travel to other tiles. We can go to the world here. You can see these are the surrounding tiles. You can travel outside of the world to any of these other tiles, which are all the same size as your home tile. But it takes time, obviously. And when you... Where is our home? Jeez, I moved too far off the reservation. Whatever. I'll find us eventually. You can travel around, but this is your home. And you can also leave this tile and go set up a colony on another tile If you want to transplant, and then you can even keep this old one running. You can't travel back to it and run it like your home base, but you can keep it running and trade with it, and even set up trade routes and stuff like that. So first things first, we've got our world here, we've got our people, we've got our starter supplies. You can see down here, everything right now is marked for don't allow it. It's forbidden with the red X. That means they won't touch it. You can forbid things from them messing with it. But first thing is to find out where we want to build our base, because first things first, we want to make sure that they get roof over their heads and get a place to sleep. But we also want to be considering, you know, we're going to be growing crops. We're probably going to have livestock and animals. We know we're going to be growing crops because we're the weed people, so we're going to need to be growing a lot of weed. But we need to find a place to build basically a shelter, our first home. So I usually look for the edges of mountain ranges and things like that. We don't have a lot of mining opportunities on this tile. There's very little mountains here. We can dig down, but that requires some research. So for the now, we're just going to have to mine what's around us. Not a lot of steel opportunities either. This is compacted steel here. You can see here that's sandstone. It's mostly sandstone. Some steel here. So we can mine the steel, smelt it down, but steel will be used for, you know, what steel would be used for, mechanical stuff and weapons and machinery and stuff like that. But let's go ahead and make a stockpile zone, because we want to make sure that we have everything sort of collected wherever we do our first. Well, let's build our base and then we can build a stockpile zone. First things first. So some elephants over here. I don't really want to keep elephants because they eat a ton of food. There's some radioactive waste. It looks like ancient barrels. Could be something in them. Probably isn't. Probably just nothing. Also, you want to consider what the ground is. So, like dirt and stuff like that, if they're walking on dirt, even if like you put a floor down, they're going to track dirt on that, and it's going to make things dirty. So your cooking area is going to be dirty, which means your food is going to be gross and you're going to get sick. So you can see here the ground, like there used to be a building or a structure here at some point. So the ground is like a concrete. And we could probably smooth that. What does it say down here on the bottom? You can look down here when I'm hovering over it. Concrete, yeah. So that's all concrete right there. So we could build on top of that quite easily and keep things relatively clean, but it's not going to be attractive. But that's not a big deal. So structure, we've got a lot of wood around us with all the trees. I'm going to go ahead and put in some walls, and it's going to be our home structure up here. Ancient nav beacon. Alright, we're going to deconstruct these. We'll claim them, sure. Claim neutral structures of the colony. If you claim it, they'll consider it something that can be, like, repairable, and, like, they'll take care of it, as opposed to, say, like, what I'm doing, which is, like, deconstructing it. Yeah. I guess we could just do that. Let's do that instead. So, cancel. Cancel. So, okay, so, time is going to move at 3 different speeds. 1, 2, and 3, they move at, you know, what you would think. Like, 2 is pretty quick, 3 is really fast. Usually I keep it on 3, but in the beginning, I want to make sure that I'm at least taking care of business. So we're going to be making sure that all of the supplies that we have here, we don't want to lose them. We want to make sure we get to keep them, put them to good use. So I'm going to make a stockpile zone. So over here, architect is your friend. A lot of stuff, options, but zone, we're going to make a stockpile zone. And the very first thing, I don't care about what is in the stockpile zone. I just mark it for everything. So here's all the options of what can be in the stockpile zone. If you clear all, it clears everything. You allow all, it allows everything. And that's everything in the world is all under these categories. And that's how you can organize where they put stuff. But I'm just going to have it allow all. That way, all the stuff that we just came in with is where we need it, right in front of our base. So I'm going to... Oh, I can't. They're not going to let me. Because we've got a character there. Select all of this stuff and click allow. You'll see weapons and things here are all not allowed, but we can click on our character, check our bio, see what they have for... so she's got a little bit of shooting. We're going to give her the revolver. Click on this guy. Little bit of shooting, rifle. Dang, we don't have much skill when it comes to that. Click the knife, and then there's also helmet, flak jacket, flak pants. But these survival meals will keep us going until we figure out the food situation. Steel here. Want to make sure that we collect the steel that we got when we dropped. Some wild boomalopes. These guys, they you can farm them, raise them up. They explode if you kill them, but you can milk them for chem fuel that you can use to fuel a generator or whatever. Okay, so we got some wood that's already been pre-cut. First thing I want to look at is work. So I do manual priorities, but this is where you can see your colonists and then all the work that you would have them do, and then you can give them a priority level of nothing to 1. So you can have them not do it. You can have them have a 4 where they'll have a low priority. A normal priority is at a 3, so that's sort of the neutral zone. 2 is a high priority, and top priority is, yeah, obviously 1. So we don't have anyone in childcare, but we do have some construction going on. So Glenn, we're going to set him to a 1 for construction, make sure he's doing it. We also want to make sure that we've got people hauling stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and just increase the priority for hauling for everybody so they all get their butts in gear and haul this stuff over. We also want to get some beds. So I'm just going to build beds. We got lots of wood, so 3 beds for them. And the temperature is 64. You can see on the right-hand side here, the temperature. It changes depending on where you are. But right now, it's outside everywhere is 64. When we build walls and stuff like that, that'll change, and it'll change that over there on the right-hand side will change depending on where our cursor is. It'll tell us what temperature it is. But I was bringing that up because we might want to make a campfire over here, temperature, just so that we have some heat. But we also need a door because they can't get into that. What I've built for them so far. There's the door. We also want to get some growing action going. So zone, growing zone. And we want our crops to be close to us, but not too close. So that 1, we can expand our buildings, but 2, we can expand our crops. Potatoes grow fast. Oh, also growing areas. So this is important. You can see when I was growing over that, we can't have a growing area over this rocks and stuff like that. So down here you've got terrain affordance. So this is where I can't build my structures. I can't build a structure on this because it's probably like swamp in this case. So the ground is too soft. But that's something to keep in mind. I also can't grow on rock or whatever. What is this? Rough limestone. Yeah. So we're going to have to put our growing areas over here. And we're going to keep it modest to start, but expect to grow it out. And we're going to start with potatoes and heel root. So potatoes, and then here, heel root. And that's just so we have, so heel root requires an 8 skill in growing to sow, and none of my colonists have an 8 in growing yet. So we're going to have them get that skill up. Which one has plants? 5. Stin. So Stin's got to get on that. We'll have Stin taking care of all of that, and that to be top priority. So I said prioritize the planting, but Stin's still going to go ahead and finish hauling this thing like they were planning on doing. So we've got Stin, Glenn's building, Stin is working on plants, and then this chick is doing what? The creepy breathing gourmand. Medical, social, intellectual. She's not much help right now, is she? She will be once we get her cooking. So let's go ahead and plan for that. Production. We need a... sorry, there we go. Stove. It's an electric stove. We don't want that. We want a fueled stove. And it's only giving me the option for steel to make it out of. And that is because we don't have any wood. It used to just give you the option and then you wouldn't make it. So I don't know how I like that UI change, but we need to get some wood. So let's get some people to chop down trees. So orders, chop wood. We're going to have them clear these trees here. And that's going to give us some wood to work with. And we're just going to check our work. Hit pause again. See who's on plant cut. That would be Stin. So that's the top priority for them. To chop wood. What are they doing? Hauling wood. No, I need you to do this. So one thing you can do is prioritize, and then if you hold shift, you can add priorities. And this can be helpful when you have colonists that need to get a task done ASAP. And she's hauling stuff right now, so that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and speed it up. You can see how quickly they can move now. Run, 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 run. You also want to keep on your colonists up here. If a little clock shows up next to them, that means they're idle. You just don't want them to get idle. Productivity is king. Make sure someone's working on something. And be careful with the sped up process too, because if there's an issue or something goes wrong, while it's sped up, you may not notice until it's too late. And that can be dangerous. So we got one bed made. They've got some walls up. What's she doing? She's praying. So she's taking a moment to pray. I can give them... So under miscellaneous, you can see there's a meditation spot where people can meditate. Under ideology, there's a ritual spot, but there's a kneel sheet here. So I can install a kneel sheet. Oh, I need cloth to do it. We don't have any cloth yet, but I could give her a prayer mat so she could pray. It looks like we got a husky. That was our dog that we got. Or you don't get a dog, you get an animal. It's random. Sometimes it's a turtle, sometimes it's a guinea pig. It's not a dog. It's strange that we got such a generic pet, but it's fine. That's fine. Let's give him a bed though. So furniture, we can either make him a sleeping spot or a sleeping box. We got lots of wood, and it's early on. I want to give him a good, comfortable place to sleep, and we're gonna do it inside. Also, speaking of animals, they have zones where they're allowed to be. So if you click on animals, there we go. Okay, so Ollie is our husky here. And animals will be also any livestock you have, so that'll fill up this area, and it'll list it in this window. It'll get massive if you have lots of animals. Here you see his age, gender, life stage. his tameness, so he can guard a bit. These are some things that you can train him to do if you have someone work with him. So attack, rescue, haul stuff. So if we get someone who's good with animals to work with him, looks like he's with Stin is the master of him. That's sort of his ritualistic owner. We could sterilize him here. We could slaughter him. Here we choose his medical care. So we can choose what level of medicine. We can give him the best quality medicine, industrial, herbal medicine, or whatever, or no doctor care whatsoever. Or we can release him. Just let him go out into the wild. Release him out into the rainforest. But here you see his areas. Right now he's unrestricted like the colonists are. They are unrestricted. So what we can do is manage the area. So it's called let's do new area. And we're going to rename this as pet area. Close. And manage areas. Wait. Okay, so then architect, zone, and expand allowed area. And now we have pet area down here into expand allowed area. And so this is going to be everywhere that the dog is allowed to be. So I'm going to do it here so that he's not tracking it through here. And the reason I'm doing that is because the animals are dirty and they're going to track shit and stuff all over and make things dirtier than they have to be. The dog's allowed to be inside. I just don't want him running around the house. That's all that is. But he can be outside. So I'm going to go ahead and make the rest of his area out here. This is going to be his zone. This is where Ollie can be, or any other pets that I assign this zone to. Not a big deal, but just something out of experience. If I have a pet, I've just learned I don't want them walking through my kitchen. They make things dirty, especially early on when I'm trying to keep things clean. It can be hard. Colonists get sick really easily. Now they haven't built any roofs yet, so I'm gonna get him to deconstruct these things. Alright, so Glenn's got these two deconstructed. We're gonna finish the corners on our building. This is our first home structure. Botching a construction, you see it said there, construction botched. So he failed to make the door. And even though he failed to do it, he's going to get a little bit of experience just for trying. So if I click on Glenn while he's doing this, let's slow it down. All right, hit pause. We'll go to bio, and he is building, so he's crafting. So while I'm hovering over this, while he's crafting, you can see there's skill level, which is, he's got 4 of skill level. Progress to the next skill level earned. If I hit play, you can see, there you go. A little bit of progress goes at when he was making that door. So you can actually see the progress of what he's doing. Now, making roofs doesn't build him any. Constructing is just because it's simple. The roofs are just, I guess, shack roofs or whatever. But, okay, now we have roof coverage. We want to get some light in there because they'll get depressed if they can't see. They also won't be able to cook very well. So we got a torch in there. Just a regular wooden torch. And they don't like eating without tables either. So we're going to make a small 1x2 table. I'm going to put it down here. A couple of wooden dining chairs for them. You can change how things are rotated by hitting Q and E. They only need 3 at most. Glenn's cruising on construction. Looks like she's still hauling stuff, which is great. He's struggling with construction, but at least he's getting some stuff done. I'm going to make another stockpile zone inside. And this is just going to be for food. Just for now, just because I want to make sure that all the food that we have doesn't go bad from being outside and sitting in the rain. So I just clicked yes. So what I'm doing is I'll make a new stockpile zone, and I'll say clear all. So I'll just click clear all of them. And then I search for food. And I'm just going to select all the food. Allow rotten, I'm going to unselect because I don't want rotten food in the house. It's going to make things gross. They might bring in rotten animals, rotten whatever. We can't cook with it. If we do, we're going to get sick. So I don't want people to get starved and eat it because it's close in proximity. None of that. So no rotten. I'm not going to allow any rotten. Also down here on this storage, I'm going to go to the foods and deselect it. We can also change the priority level of stockpile areas. This is important. So since it is important to have food inside, I'm going to make it important. And so priority level change, it's a good way to sort of balance how things are mitigated. If you change the priority level of something and say something is really important to have a stockpile zone, what they'll do is they will move it from other stockpile zones. So that way, if you have an issue with organization, say you have multiple stockpile zones going on, and you're like, oh, shoot, I know I've got sandstone in this one, and I know I've got sandstone in this one, and I just really want all of the sandstone into this one stockpile zone. So what you can do is just go to the priority level and jack it all the way up. And that way, no matter where it is, whether it's on a map, whether it's on another stockpile zone that you have made or whatever, they'll pull it from that stockpile zone to the new stockpile zone that you want to be using. But that being said, don't put on really high. Like, I never use critical for that reason. I don't use critical on a stockpile zone because I want the option to use it if I ever lose something, or I'm having issues with organization and I need to consolidate an object. I always have critical as an option. So that's just something to keep in mind. I always leave that in my back pocket. It's good because sometimes you'll be like, oh shoot, where did I leave the thing? And you won't know. And there's mods and whatever. Obviously, with the new update, new mods are going to take a bit. But, yeah. Okay, so first day. They've got beds. Everyone's sleeping, peacefully resting. The dog, for some reason, is outside. He's too large for the dog box. Poor guy. Okay, so that's why he's not sleeping in the dog. We need to build him a dog bed, which I can't do because I don't have any cloth or fabric. And the only thing that has leather is Ollie, and we're not skinning Ollie. So, he's just gonna sleep outside for now. I don't know. He could sleep inside on the ground too. That is an option. He's allowed to do that. It's kind of his choice that he's out there right now. But he's a dog. Whatever. They don't care. It is raining though. Whatever. Ollie don't care. All right. So next morning, Stin is up. Doing some hauling. And alright, I'm just going to go ahead and pause, and we're going to take a moment to collect and figure out what we're doing. So we have stoner ideology, which means we're going to need to have a place to do rituals and organize events, like build our giant bong and get everyone stoned so we can just smoke out a whole room. I'm thinking about maybe mining out a section. Who's our miner? Oh, we don't have any mining skills. Dang, that's gonna be rough. Okay. I didn't get any good miners. Okay, well, we're just gonna have to figure it out. So we're not digging into the mountain to build anything, because the one person who can mine sucks at it, which is brutal. Mining, let's see, it's the highest skill based is 2. That is painful. Oh man, I hope we can script someone soon or if we get a new raider that can mine, because otherwise we're in trouble. Anyway, we need to grow weed as soon as possible because we need to be smoking it. So I'm gonna go ahead and it's called smoke leaf in this game, but we're gonna go ahead and make this smoke leaf. So who is on growing? Is it Stin? Yep. Stin focused on that. I don't know why they're hauling more than that. Oh, because I haven't prioritized it yet. There we go. Grow. I had plant cut on. That's why. My bad. So now it's the top priority. So not only is it numerically based, it's also based off of, like, this direction. So if everything from firefight is the most critical thing, down to research. So even if something is a top 1 priority, if they have another top 1 priority, they're going to do the one that is on the leftmost first. So everything on this side is the highest, and then it goes down. So that's how you can scale their priority level of what they do. And you can really refine it, and this is really nice once you get the hang of it. It's really helpful. It also shows, you can see kind of over the box, their passion level for whatever they're doing. So that can kind of be a way that you can be just sort of paused in here and doing a way of like scheduling who does what based on their interest, and make sure that they're at least on top of it. So for handling, Glenn is good with animals, but it's actually Stin's dog, so we want to make sure Stin's at least aware of the dog. But I don't have him training on anything. It doesn't really matter. Handling would also involve, like, animals, like livestock. Surprised the music isn't playing. Usually there's more music. So, definitely getting plants going is important, because the sooner the better that you have crops going. We've got our stockpile zone here, which has got our everything that we started out with. They still haven't hauled these meals, but that's just about everything we have. Oh, there's a couple more up here I missed, it looks like. Okay, there we go. Allowed them, so they're not forbidden anymore. Other than that, we also want to prepare for, 1, storage of our food, and 2, we want to have enclosed areas to work on things. So, research and, like, all the other things like crafting and what have you. We can make a crafting spot for just rolling joints, but we're going to need a place to cook and all of that. So let's go with and make a stove. But we want a fueled stove, but we want one out of wood. Huh. It's not an option? Just fueled stove, fueled stove. I guess I could cook out of it, but it used to be an option to make one out of wood. Okay. Well, we're going to put that right there in the corner. So now they're going to make, he's going to build a stove there out of the steel. We do have enough steel. We have 450 steel, so he can make it. It's going to require 80 to make, but we need it. And it's a fueled stove, so it's going to take wood as the fuel. He's going to burn, whoever cooks is going to burn wood to make it. Also, we want to keep in mind our storage of food. So let's go to our structure and build a structure to store our food. It's not going to be big enough. There we go. We're going to fill it up pretty quick once we get it. Also, there's hotkeys for all of these, so you can use C for cancel, X for deconstruct. I usually just click on the item that I want to build, and then say build copy. That's a really quick way for me to navigate, so if I want to make a bed, I just click on a bed, and then build the copy of the bed. And that's the fastest way for me to navigate if I'm just building something that I've already built. Um, in this case, I'm building a storage for our food. So we want another door. Um, and we're going to have it be right next to where we're cooking. So the person who cooks goes in there. And the floor, concrete's going to use up steel. Um, wood floor, we have a lot of wood, so I'm just going to do that for now. Oh no. We're moving into a swamp. So we can't build that there. So we're going to have to cancel all of that. Cancel the door. And we're going to just build the storage right here, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, so build copy. There we go. And floor. There we go. Okay, so now there's going to be a wooden floor there. And this is going to be our first storage area. Do we have temperature? We do. Okay, so you can make refrigerators in this game. And this is really important because storing food is pretty critical. A good rule of thumb is to freeze things. When things are frozen, they do not spoil. So 32 degrees Fahrenheit is where you want to keep the item. If it gets above that, it thaws out. If it stays below it, it stays frozen. It's really easy. Sorry, I was doing something to motivate. So we've got a cooler, and you can see where I'm placing it, there's a red and a blue square. The blue signifies where the cold side is, the red is where the heat is going to be going. This is a way that you can moderate the heat and the temperature and what have you. Let's see. Since the stove is here, I'm probably going to have the door here. Let's have the cooler here. Okay. But of course, it's going to require power. Which, for power, we have limited options. We could build a wind turbine. We could build a chem fuel powered generator. So what we could do is we could try and tame. What are our skills in animals? We've got a 12 here in animals. So Victor here, Glenn, is pretty good with animals. So as a thought, we could have Glenn tame these boomalope and then milk them for fuel, and then use the fuel to generate power for us. Or we could use a wood burning generator, or we could build a wind turbine. Wind turbine is passive and a lot easier to manage. And it's something I like to sort of rely on. So I'm going to go ahead and build it, but we can't build it there because of the swamp. We could build it there, but you see how the corner on the bottom right is touching the mountain? We want this area, this square that the turbine is over, to be clear. I'm actually going to cut all the plants down, and then I'm going to build concrete on the ground. So let's actually click our buildable area. So I can't build a floor on any of these spots. So the turbine can't go, it could go here. It can't go here because I can't build, one, I can't build the turbine over a swamp, but I also can't build in the white areas, so I can't put something on the floor. The reason you don't want anything in the white area is because if there's a tree or an obstruction in the way, it blocks the turbine's wind, which blocks the turbine's power output. So, Juice, if you're watching this, I'm sure you're getting a kick out of this, me building wind turbines. But yeah, I like building them. They're passive. They work well. They don't break down very often. You can just put them outside. You don't have to cover them with anything or what have you. So I'm going to put it there. And we're going to build. You can see the outline when I click on it. I'm going to click floors, concrete. Now, this is kind of an issue. I hope video game logic wins on my side and says that this isn't actually an obstruction. It might cause a problem for it, but I don't... whatever. It'll be fine. Also, any power that we have, we want a power conduit. Things like applications... not applications, but appliances. That's what I'm trying to say. Applications. Appliances... electric stoves, electric smithies, lights, anything that runs on electricity usually, that's like an object, has like a distance, which is sort of like the assumed power cord that can reach it, so you don't have to draw the power conduit to them, is my point. I have to draw a power conduit from the physical turbine, because it's the thing generating the power, but I don't have to draw it all the way to, say, the cooler here. I can draw it to probably about here-ish, and it'll reach. And that's a way that I can save on resources. So don't think that you have to build the power conduit right up to it. You can give it some space. I'm going to build it to there, and if it doesn't reach, I'll just add a power conduit on. It'll be fine. And that's going to use up a lot of our steel, and we don't have a lot of steel. I'm going to deconstruct this ship chunk here. That might give us some steel. I think our power is going to be in working with the wood that we have around us and the fact that it rains a ton. So we're going to have a ton of plant growth and probably a lot of wildlife as well. Oh, wildlife. So wildlife here, if you click down here on this button, it'll show you all the wildlife that's on the tile. This is all the wild animals out there. And you can see here, we've got elephants and boomalopes, alpacas, capybaras, cassowaries. There's one tortoise, one lady tortoise, one chinchilla, a bunch of monkeys. There's one cobra, guinea pigs, and a couple of rats. These are all the wild animals, and you can click on them, and they'll show you where they're at. You can even pick here. This is kind of helpful. Up here, you can see there's marked animals to be hunted. So one thing to keep in mind about if you're going to say, okay, say we wanted meat, and I'm looking at animals and I see all these capybaras here, and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of capybaras. We could probably knock some of these back. Don't kill off all of the breeding potential of the group. So you always want to make sure that you have maintained a high number of females in the population. You can always have one male, and he'll impregnate all the females. But having a whole bunch of males and one female, they're not going to reproduce very fast. She can only do so much, unfortunately. So that's how you want to sort of manage your hunting if you wanted to balance that out. You want to definitely hunt the males, and you want to manage that you don't hunt too many of them out. I actually don't spend a lot of time hunting because I like to keep the animal populations high in case I need to hunt. If I do need to hunt, they're there. If you do hunt some of these critters back, you will see the wildlife level go down. You can scare groups of animals away. If you kill off too many of the prey, you will see issues with the predators, and vice versa. If you kill off the predators, you'll see issues with the prey pop up. So out here we have really just that snake. Yeah, the cobra is the main predator out here. He's the only one out here that's really doing some damage. Everything else is a herbivore. So, I forgot where I was going with all of this. Anyway, that's all of your wildlife. That's how you can manage and find out what your wildlife is, where if you want to tame any of these animals. If you're in a forest or something and there's birds, I usually recommend taming turkeys. Get turkeys laying eggs. They reproduce very quickly. They'll lay lots of eggs. You can eat the eggs, or you can let them fertilize them and hatch them. If you don't want them to fertilize them, you just collect them. make a stockpile zone for unfertilized eggs, and they'll collect the eggs beforehand. And yeah, you can collect them before they fertilize them, or they'll fertilize them, and then you'll have more turkeys. In this case, there's not a lot of potential in the wildlife. Maybe the alpacas, because you can use their fur for making a lot of clothing and stuff, so they're gonna have that wool. But I can't ride them, and yeah, I don't know. So we're not gonna worry about that for now. So we survived day 1. And let's see. We've got the plan for the wind turbine and the storage of our food. And so you'll get reminders too. It's telling us we need defenses, which is sandbags and traps. Honestly, sandbags are a waste of steel early on. So you can go over here to Architect and look at Security. And so you can see sandbags, so it takes cloth, I guess. I'm sorry, not steel. It takes cloth, which we don't have, to make sandbags, which are really just barricades to shoot from behind. You can build wooden barricades, which are essentially the same thing, but not as much damage protection. Or you can build these spike traps, which is basically requires the victim to walk into it, which, with this game, with the amount of RNG, I have no idea where the raid might be coming from, so I don't really know where to put a trap right now whatsoever. It'd be more dangerous for my own colonists. I'm just going to leave it be. And they need a meal source. You have nowhere preparing proper meals. Well, he just botched the construction of our stove that I'm trying to build, but yeah, we don't. Not yet. Okay. That's funny, he built the cooler before building the walls. Got him going. There's the music kicked in. Sin's over here chopping down trees, planting for the growing zones. We've got a whole bunch of potatoes, and what was in here? Smoke leaf. Yeah. You can also see how I spaced out the growing zones and patches. The reason I did that is to protect against fires. When there is a fire, it moves from one space to another space, to another space, to another space. And if you have a gap, it works as a block, which you can also do later on, is put down tiles or put down concrete or something, some sort of a barricade around it. That way, if there is a fire or something like that, it doesn't spread. It's also good for if your plants get blight or like an infection, and the blight will spread like wildfire, and it'll spread across your crops. And so it's also a good way to protect your crops because it gives a buffer time from when the blight will spread to the next crop patch by having them gapped out. So that's why I do them in patches, and that's why I separate them. We have a visitor, a butcher from the people of Gobi is visiting the colony. His name is Biko Alko. Okay. Well, that's nice for him. We'll jump to his location. If they have a question mark, that usually means you can trade with them. So I'm gonna check our stats and see who's social. She is an 11. It's probably him. Glenn. I see these little things. It looks like he's got Princess Leia's haircut. I don't know. I think he does. I think he's got Princess Leia man buns. Whatever. Okay, 11 social. 10 social. We're a very social colony. We just can't mine. Okay. Well, Glenn, go trade with Biko. see what Biko's got to trade. Biko's got pemmican. So pemmican is just what pemmican is. It's a food for traveling. Lasts a long time. It doesn't taste great, but it lasts. One thing to keep in mind too about like that is like diet. Sometimes certain colonist ideologies, what have you, they don't like eating certain things, so that can be an issue. What else does he have? So this is what he has that I can take. So herbal medicine. He's got a steel ikiwa. Ikwa. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry. A short spear handle attached to a long bladed point, designed to be driven into vital organs with a quick thrust. Neat. Good. Okay. Steel visage mask is mine. Visage, whatever. Gold mask, gas mask. Synthread pants. I have some pants. Whatever. So I don't really have anything to trade with this guy. He doesn't have anything. He's got some pemmican, which is kind of good, actually. We'll take a stack of pemmican. 10 pemmican. I don't know if that's a stack. Probably more, but it's going to cost me... It's not charging me very much for it. Package survival meal I want to hold on to. I don't really want to give him the pants, but I might need them for somebody that shows up and has pants. We'll just buy this. We'll get 60 from him. 98 silver. We have 800 silver is what we dropped with. Go ahead and accept it. You gotta spend money to make money. So Glenn is just botching constructions all over, but you can see he's learning. He's already up to a level 5 on construction. Progress to the next level. Almost at 4,000 out of 6,000, so he'll be a 6 sooner than not. Right now he's chopping down a tree. So this is another thing to sort of note. When it comes to that alarm too, someone's freaking out. We'll get to that after I mention this. But it's important to note that, so while I said go construct this turbine and build concrete floors here, Glenn is on construction. So Glenn is constructing the concrete floor. And there is a tree here in the way. Glenn is not good at chopping down trees. He's got a 4 implants. And so he's going to have to take his time chopping down this tree. Now, what I should have done after I built this, because I wasn't paying attention, but what I should have done after I built this, because I knew that there were trees in the way, so, okay, I'm building something, trees are in the way, I need to chop them down. What I should have done is go to Architect, Orders, Chop Wood. And then in the area, scanned and ordered things to be chopped down. That way, whoever was prioritized under work, here for plant cut, to chop down the wood, would go and do it. And I can even have, well, I would if he wasn't freaking out, which we'll get to. I would have him go and chop it down so that Glenn doesn't have to do it. And Glenn can focus on doing the construction over here, and Stin can do the chopping down of the tree, which would be the most efficient way of doing that. So you can see here, I have a big hole in my storage area, but there's a tree in here that didn't get chopped down because Glenn didn't chop it down. He just built around it and then moved on and did something else. They do other things. I haven't even gotten to what they do for their schedule. So Glenn's was chopping out. Oh, Stin is freaking out. He's on a food binge. Stin is picking out on food. This happened because of the trait gourmand. Oh, okay, great. So because she's a gourmand, apparently she's going to gorge herself on food periodically. So traits, gourmand. He is all about food. And now he's on a binge. It probably happened because of poor mood, so we're going to go to... Log tells us what just happened, so we can see their interactions. And then under social, we can see relationships that they have, again, interactions that they had. Bio is what we've been looking at for stats. Needs is really important because this is going to tell me their mood. So food, sleep, recreation, this is the beauty of their exposure, so what they're exposed to as far as like beauty. Down here, this little person shape, this shows you how beautiful things are. And so outside, 1 is kind of like neutral, positive 1. -4 is where things get ugly. So minus numbers are ugly. So you can see the ground here inside the house has 16s. There's a -13, a lot of -1s, and that's because it's dirty right here. It's dirty right there. There's dirt there, apparently. There's something there that's really gross. I guess the pemmican is visually unappealing. These items or whatever are visually unappealing for this area. But that's where the beauty comes from, is their exposure to it. And that has to do with, you know, how tolerant they are to it, how much they want to see beauty, like in the world, like their optimism, and also their like general carefreeness, you know, how bothered they are by things. They'll see extremely low expectations, so he has a +30, just rocking out because he just has low expectations. But he ate without a table. He's soaking wet. His sleep was disturbed 3 times while he was sleeping because they're sleeping in the same goddamn room with all this shit going on, and they're not up at the same time. Is in the darkness. I guess that torch isn't sufficient in getting in there, so it's too dark, and it's dark outside. And the barracks suck, because they do. It's dirty, everything's in one room, it's shitty. So he's just in a crummy kind of mood. And he's a gourmand, so it triggered him, and he went off. We're going to turn off the beauty. Turbine's almost done. We'll have the storage area. We need to get another door there so that, yeah, he could finish building because he's built it off. There's no door to get inside. It's just a hole. You can also see roofs. So if I click on, there we go, roofs, this button. This will show me where the roofs are. So you can see there's a roof here, roof there. Oh, we still have plants, or the building area, there we go. Okay, so this is where all the roofs are. You can see like there's a ledge here because of the side of the mountain. That'll probably collapse once we start mining into it, obviously. But yeah, that'll show you where all the roofs are. And then also, a good trick that I learned is about building roofs. So that's actually under zones. You're going to see build roof area over here. And you can build 4 tiles out from any building. And that's a good way to protect against toxic buildup, but also like if there was like weather effects and things like that, you can use these as storage areas, and they're essentially quote-unquote covered. They're still out in the elements, but they're not exposed to a number of things, so you can put them outside. But that's a good way to create cover for... Oh, that's too far out. So 4 tiles, and we're going to remove roof area. There we go. Okay. So now there's going to be a roof there. There. Okay. So that's all going to be a roof, and all of that's going to be covered. And it just says, cannot build a roof over a bamboo tree, which means the tree has to come down. So I'll assign them to chop the trees down in that area. And I should probably go ahead and assign them to chop down a few more trees, because we're going to need the wood. Over here in the growing area, you can assign to cut plants, chop wood, and you can put cut plants on chop wood, but I think it is more efficient if you do it for the specific thing. So I do both if I'm trying to clear an area, but honestly, with them growing, that's going to happen anyway, and the way that it's assigned is kind of going to work out anyway, because the person who's planting is also chopping it down. But again, work, plant cut, and grow are two different things. So if you assign plant cutting, and what have you to one person who's not the same person who's growing, you can do both simultaneously, and that's why you would want to have these assigned this way, because that way it gets done more efficiently. Cut plants. Now's also a good time to mention harvest here. So you can see these berry bushes. We can harvest them for berries, and that's a good way to get some food. Usually reproduce pretty quick, so they pop up on the map in different areas. Usually look for clusters of them, but if you click them to harvest and just see he's building the roof now. And to my understanding, roofs don't take up material. I don't see a decrease in the steel. So it's good to build the roofs. It doesn't take up materials, and it protects your colonists. Toxic stuff is no joke. You'll get toxic fallout and stuff like that, and it's deadly as hell. So we got some steel over here. It's boomalopes. Another thing too, even if I don't use the chem fuel to fuel the generators or whatever, I could still milk these guys for the chem fuel and sell it. It's still a good way to make money. Oh, we got a monkey that's gone crazy. So down here we've got a monkey. This might be a good time to sort of show what would happen if this was an invader. So we've got our people here. Oh no! I'm gonna go ahead and draft them. And drafting is something you can do that when there's an attack, they're not gonna do anything. They're just gonna stand still and only listen to you. They will stay like that until you undraft them. So definitely make sure if you draft somebody, you remember to undraft them whenever you're done with whatever you're doing. But in this case, oh no, monkey is attacking. We're going to be pretending like this is super dangerous. We're brought everyone to a fence. Let's get everyone in the same place. So I'm gonna right click and get everyone in the same location. Make sure people aren't standing in front of each other. See, he's already aiming. It looks like Princess Leia. Glenn's already aiming. And so don't have them standing in front of each other. They'll shoot each other. They'll do it. I'm gonna turn off the roof so we don't keep looking at that green box. Oh, not that. That. You see there's a shadow now too, which is kind of nice. So when they're drafted, they will automatically fight. You can see now we're in danger. You can no longer speed it up. It's automatically just at 1 speed. You click 1. You can still pause it though. So they're shooting at the monkey. They'll automatically shoot at the monkey. I can all have them melee attack it. Oh my god. Alright, they got it. They killed the monkey. Okay, monkey is dead. This is a good time to bring up slaughtering of animals. So, production. We're going to make a wooden butcher table. And I'm going to put it over here because it gets messy. There's going to be blood from everything, and we don't want that near the cooking area. So don't build your slaughtering thing in the beginning next to your cooking stove. I don't anyway, but it's going to be messy. It makes a big mess. And for right now, everything's kind of moved together, but we can always reinstall these guys at another location. Just right now, this is all we have as far as the structure. It's small. I just want to make sure we get everything lined up first. Okay, so monkey's dead. We can undraft. And the monkey is dead. Is he dead for less than a day? Missing body parts 0. It's fresh. It's not refrigerated. It will spoil in 2.5 days. It's deteriorating because it is outdoors and is raining, and it is losing 0.5 of its what it is a day. I'm gonna go ahead and prioritize Glenn to work on this door because we need to get this situation going with that, and I'm gonna have Stin take care of this tree because we need that taken care of ASAP. You see, they already moved the monkey to the stockpile zone because the stockpile zone is still listed for everything except for foods. Monkeys aren't foods; they are animal corpses. You can see all the animals here. These are all the different animals in the game. There's a lot of them. Alright, so Glenn's taking care of the door, which means he can get inside this area now. And I'm going to go ahead and assign orders. Chop wood to those. Cut plants to those. And so once Stin is done here, which he's almost done, prioritize him to get in there and start cutting down trees. And so I kicked Glenn off of doing it because it's going to take him forever to chop it down. I'd rather have Stin do it. See how quick he's getting after it? It's because he's got that skill level advantage. So he's rocking that out. Glenn's working back on construction, which is what I want him to be doing. And what's her name? Aranica? Whatever. Aronica. I'm going to call her Aronica. She's just running around doing whatever. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, but she's staying busy, which is fine. Glenn, I'm going to have you focus on the butchering table so we can get this monkey chopped up. And we've got basically a room here. We need to get these items hauled out, so I selected here and just clicked haul. So these items need to get hauled out, but we're gonna make a new stockpile zone. We can expand this one because it's made out of food already. Oh, it made a new zone. We're gonna delete that guy. Expand zone. I wonder if we can make it through the door. Yep, we can. Okay, so it's still stockpile zone 2, which is the one with the settings of food. And there, I just expanded it into the room. Shrink zone. There. Boom. Now the zone is moved to this room. It has the same settings that it had before. They're going to move all these items into here. And we're just waiting for this to be finished built so that it is actually refrigerated. But food included meat. It included raw meat, so... God, Glenn just screwed up that too. Glenn sucks at construction. Ritual opportunity soon. That has to do with the ideology. Medical treatment needed. Glenn. What happened to Glenn? Oh, he's got a bruise from a monkey fist. The monkey punched him during their battle. So he's injured. Alright, that's fine. We're gonna go to work, and because he's injured, Glenn, I'm gonna put him on patient, top priority, and that just means that if there was a medical bed, that he would go to it. I don't have a medical bed yet. Who's our doctor? Ranica, so we need to put Doctor as #1 priority. She's gonna heal Glenn when she gets a chance. I don't have any... Yeah, I do. I have medicine out here. Oh, and it's out in the rain. Okay, so we're going to change the storage here. Search for medicine. There it is. We're going to put it up here, and since the priority level is important, it's going to overrule this one. But while I have the menu open, I'm just going to click on this stockpile, and the menu is going to stay with the same settings, and I'm going to click medicine off. Now, medicine is not in the stockpile requirements, but it is in this one. Because our medicine is going bad from being outside. I just noticed that. You can see here it's deteriorating. I'm going to prioritize her to haul that stuff. See, so I just told her to prioritize hauling, and she prioritized it to where it needed to go. She just got up, ate, and then went back to bed. I need move the rest of the medicine. There we go. Your silver won't go bad, but you probably shouldn't just have it laying out. Raiders will steal things if they kick your ass and no one's around to like fight them off. They'll break stuff. They'll do all kinds of things. So it's good to usually move your money, silver, gold, valuables inside. Don't keep them outside. All right. It's late. I'm calling it there. We're gonna call this test game stream, and it's like an hour fucking long, but yep. Save.